everybody. Welcome to the meeting of the Grandville City Council. I'd like to call the meeting to order and ask Marcy to call the roll, please.
Councilmember Flanagan.
Here.
Grandville.
Present.
Merringa.
Present.
Steenstra.
Here.
Sullivan.
Here.
Vanderwall.
Here.
And Mayor Mas.
Here. Well, tonight for the invocation, we have Pastor Melanie Fleetstra-Kilgore from First Reformed Church. So for those of you who wish, I'd invite you to stand for the invocation. We're going to follow that with a pledge of allegiance.
All right, will you join me in prayer? We thank you for this time and for this community, Lord. We ask that a spirit of wisdom and compassion be present here. Help the leaders of the city to lead with integrity and equip them for the challenges that they face. Lord, be present in this community, moving in the needs, including those that go unnoticed. May the people who live here flourish, feel safe and accepted. Help us to build bridges where there are divisions, to seek wisdom in the midst of chaos, and to care for the least of these, remembering that we are not so different from them. May your strength in our weakness and your peace in our restlessness be present to all here. We pray this all in your name. Amen.
Amen. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Pastor, thanks for being with us tonight. Appreciate it. Also, you have before you the agenda for tonight's meeting. Is there a motion to approve the agenda?
Motion. Support.
Motion and support. All those in favor of approving, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposition, please say no. Okay, we have a couple sets of minutes. One from our April 13 regular meeting. We've had a chance to look at those. Is there a motion to approve the regular minutes from April 13?
So.
Motion
Support.
and support. Any additions, corrections, anything anybody wants to talk about on that? If not, all those in favor of approving, please say yes.
Yes.
And the opposition, please say no. And we've got our minutes from our budget work session last week, April 20. Had a chance to look at those. Pretty comprehensive notes. We went over a lot of things. Thanks everybody for being there. Is there a motion to approve those minutes from April 20 budget work session?
Motion. Support.
Motion and support. Great. Thanks. Any additions, corrections? If not, all those in favor of approving, please say yes.
Yes.
Yes. Any opposition, please say no. Great. Next item. Presentation of bills in the amount of about $650,000 tonight. Griffin, anything you'd like to point out before we open it up for questions?
Yes, thank you. Yeah, this check register is a little bit later than normal, but still some really important things going on. So first off, I want to highlight two of the bills that are on the pre-cut check register. So one of them is a progress payment to Next Gen Construction in the amount of $52,200. This is a progress payment associated with Millrace Park. As a friendly reminder, that project is scheduled to wrap up by the end of May, so we're getting really close. And looking forward to getting the council and the Parks Board out there to celebrate that success for the community. We also have a payment to Rebecca Heibel in the amount of $3,600. This is half of the payments to her for coordinating the Art and Chocolate Walk this year. She was hired by the DDA several months ago to take over that responsibility, and this is a friendly reminder that event is later this week on Thursday. It is a different day of the week this year because there was a conflict with Grandville Public Schools prom on Friday, so it'll be on Thursday later this week. So looking forward to that. We have a facade grant, DDA facade grant, the amount of $10,000 to Amendola Coker, which is 3055 Red Mill. That's the new event space that's getting developed from an older warehouse building over there off Red Mill, kind of by the train track. They've done some really nice work to that building, and this was a facade grant that was approved by the DDA. We have a relatively small invoice, but I still think it's important to highlight the amount of $312 from the Kent County Conservation District. This is the second year of doing some invasive species treatment. My understanding is it's primarily around Buck Creek and Heritage Park. So we did that last year, and my understanding is to effectively treat this invasive species in those public spaces. It's you have to do a couple years of treatment in a row for it to be able to be effective. Progressive A&E invoice in the amount of $1,380. This is the traffic signal study that was approved for 36th and Canal. I've reviewed that draft report and we'll have that finalized to share the recommendations from them with you all, hopefully at the next meeting, but coming up here soon. We have a progress payment to Scott Civil Engineering in the amount of $4,455. This is the bridge design and engineering work that will take place this year in preparation for bridge year coming up here in fiscal year 27-28. And then lastly, always like to try to highlight the United States Geological Survey. That invoice is in the amount of $16,000. This is the annual Grand River water level monitoring that takes place on the M11 bridge. This year that's been even more important than normal just with the high water levels we have there. But my understanding is that was a contract signed a handful of years ago with the U.S. Geological Survey that will be in place for a few more years yet. So happy to answer questions about any of the other invoices, but those are the ones I had to highlight this evening.
Thanks. Questions for Griffin on any of the bills tonight? Is there a motion to approve the bills tonight in the amount of $654,409.67?
So moved.
Support. Motion and support. Thanks. Any comments or questions? Marcy, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Grandville,
Yes.
Merringa,
Yes.
Steenstra,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Vanderwall,
Yes.
Flanagan,
Yes.
and Mayor Mas.
Yes. Well, we have a couple presentations tonight, both of which I've been looking forward to. I think, Chief, you're up first, and you're going to tell us about some students who helped with March is Reading Month.
Yes, sir.
Great.
Mayor Moss and the City Council, I'd like to thank you for the opportunity to recognize 3 Grandville High School students this year for their assistance to our department. This time I'd like to invite up Amelia Beidel, Jocelyn Montgomery, Keegan Pierce, and our SRO, Jacob Carlson. These students had the very difficult task of working with our police officers, attempting to read picture books. So we really appreciated how good you made us look because we knew it was a daunting task. These 3 students are part of Grandville High School's AV program, which is an award-winning program throughout the state. And they worked on our March's Reading Month videos. They designed the backgrounds, did all the editings. They put in countless hours in the creation and editing of these videos. And when I checked this morning, between the 4 videos that we put up, there's about 5,500 views. We view each one of those as a very positive interaction between our department and the community, and it's something that, you know, money just can't buy, and we also can't really quantify the impact that those videos have, but we wanted to make sure that these 3 young ladies knew how much we appreciated them. So we have certificates of appreciation for all 3. And we would appreciate the opportunity to get a picture of the council with our 3 students.
Sure.
Could you just come up in front here real quick?
Okay.
You ladies will be front and center. We'll just be behind you to the sides. And if you could just hold up the certificates.
Yes.
Thank you so much for
Let me get a little closer. Thank you, ladies, very much. We greatly appreciate all your hard work.
Thank you.
Next, we have a presentation from The Right Place, who we've been partners with for a long time. And so yeah, just come on up to the podium and tell us what's new with the economic engine in Kent County.
Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor, members of the council. Really appreciate the opportunity to come and speak to you about the work that we've been doing on behalf of the region for economic development. Let me introduce myself. My name is Brad Kama, and I'm the Senior Vice President of Strategic Initiatives for The Right Place. And with me is Tim Mraz, Senior Vice President of Community Development as well for The Right Place. So our organization, we have three main focus areas where it is about people, place, and prosperity. In order for our region to prosper, our organization has been known for working with countless businesses, focusing specifically in advanced manufacturing, health and life sciences, and tech. We meet with roughly 600 companies a year, basically asking them how things are going, where do they see themselves going in the next few years, what sort of hurdles stand in their way in order for them to achieve success. And then based on that conversation, we can begin to partner with them, assist them, and connect them to the resources that they need to be able to stay here, grow here, and thrive here. That falls under what I would call our prosperity initiative. But one of the most important things to note for prosperity is they need people, they need talent. Talent is the engine that drives those companies. And so we have a team that will work with people and talent and with the HR leaders of those companies to help them succeed. And the last part, what do the people need? They need a great place. They need a great place to live. They need things to do after 5 p.m. And so we have a community development team that is working very closely with partners like the City of Grandville to help amplify that place and keep those residents here, as well as attract new talent to this region. Our organization just celebrated our 40th year anniversary. We're very proud of that. Through our efforts over those 40 years, we've worked with companies to create or retain 50,000 plus jobs, $6 billion plus in capital investment. And we've done this through thousands of company assists, infrastructure improvements, countless business connections. We work with our manufacturers on training, talent services, as well as hosting over 50 plus industry events throughout the year. We are also an accredited economic development organization. We are one of 86 economic development organizations that have been accredited by our national organization, IEDC. We're very proud of that. When we scanned the globe, there are over 11,000 economic development organizations, and we are one of 86 that have gone through the work to prove ourselves to be an accredited economic development organization. We are also a regional economic development organization. Our home base is Kent County, and we've been here for 40 years. And if we have our way, we'd like to be here another 40 years, working closely with our partners in Kent County. But also, over the years, we've become a regional organization where we partner with 7 or 6 other counties for us to be able to provide those economic development support services. Those counties include Mason, Lake, Oceana, Newaygo, Montcalm, and Ionia. And we also have a memorandum of understanding with our partners at Lakeshore Advantage, as well as the Muskegon County Economic Development Organization. We just launched our next 3-year plan. As those of you that are familiar with The Right Place, if you don't measure it, you won't do it. And so within that 3-year strategic plan, we put forth what are those key metrics that we want to achieve within the next 3 years. 3 years. So our goals that we set forth is 4,500 new and retained jobs, $700 million in capital investment, $200 million in community development investment, and per project, the average wage would be at $30 an hour. We're very proud to say that we've always achieved our metrics within our 40-year history, and we are actually moving forward in this year. We've already announced a couple projects, and we're looking forward to working with many more companies to help them grow. I lead strategic initiatives, so I'll start there before I hand it over to Tim. But with strategic initiatives, it's really about business intelligence, research, and data, but also bringing forward that thought leadership for our region. We do this through a number of ways, including published business intelligence reports. We have a manufacturing report, a tech report, a development report, a state of the region report, and coming this week will be our talent report. We have had over 11,000 views already on our reports over the last couple of years. I'm thinking I need to have our students help us, since you were able to get 5,500 in a short period of time. I might have to talk to you after this to figure out what you're doing right. But we've also launched our tech strategy. We have an AI roadmap in manufacturing, as well as our 3-year RPI strategic plan. And with that, I'll turn it over to Tim Mraz to talk a little bit more in depth about our work with people, place, and prosperity.
Good evening, Mayor. Good to see you again. Mayor and I serve on the board of the Rapid together, so long time no see. Just to quickly put a little bit of depth into each of these. We started our people initiative with the idea of who we work with at the right place. Our primary point of contact is usually the CEO, the business owner, the plant manager of individual companies. And so we realized that there are a lot of organizations out there that help Tim unemployed find a job, somewhere in the market of West Michigan. But there are very few resources for Griffin, the CEO, to find Tim, or for Griffin, the CEO, to figure out why he has 30% turnover, why he has many employees that leave after 3 or 4 weeks. And so this team is able to work with CEOs and businesses around the region and help them look at their talent from a systematic point of view. Everything from working on the business culture, within the company, to their hiring practices, to their payment structures. A lot of positions are really tight, and so if you're paying 50 cents below the average on an hourly rate, you may lose that employee. But without doing those wage studies, you don't know. And so this team really comes alongside a lot of our business owners and helps them on the talent side. Next one. These are some of the current initiatives that they are taking on. Again, that talent assessment that I mentioned, that's a large part of that. Place, this is the best one because this is the one I run. This is dedicated to placemaking and community development. Like Brad mentioned, we started this really just 5 years ago at the right place. Prior to that, our 35-year history, we didn't get engaged in this, so this is fairly new to us. Griffin's been a great partner in working on this. So some of the big areas that we work on are public placemaking projects, so band shells, parks, trails, countless pickleball courts around the region. We do a lot of infrastructure work, so we partner with DTE, Consumers Energy, water, sewer, broadband, and all of our utility providers. Site development, probably one of the most needed aspects of West Michigan for our economic growth is having available sites to develop. I don't care whether you're talking about housing, whether you're talking about retail, or whether you're talking about industrial. For us to grow, we need to be able to build things here. And the quick stat I give people is right now our industrial vacancy rate across the region is about 3.6%. So of the total industrial market, of all that's available, only 3.6% is actually available to be leased. National average is about 7.4. So we are twice, almost 3 times as tight as the national average. And then working on a lot of transformational projects, things like soccer stadium, amphitheater, and projects like that across our city and region. Some of the things that we're working on right now, Developer Day, we'll mention that here in a minute. Increasing access to broadband. I will say, as Brad mentioned, those 6 other counties that we work with, those 6 other counties report up through me, and this is particularly of importance when you start talking about some of our more rural communities, is lack of access to broadband. It's hard to imagine that we have lack of access to broadband, but there are many areas across our region where you simply cannot get it, cannot get access. So, next one. So in terms of community development, some of the things specifically we've been working with Grandville on, I'm happy to say Developer Day back in 2022, which was our second year doing Developer Day. You guys were one of the host cities, so we brought about 50 developers on a bus, load them up on a bus, and brought them into downtown Grandville and showed them everything that Grandville had to offer. Part of that resulted in the attraction of Moxie to Timber Flats. So we were able to partner with the city, partner with Griffin, and ultimately make that project a reality. So now that surface level parking lot is, well, now it's dirt, but it'll soon be 27 units of housing, 28 units of housing. So 2025 Developer Day last year, we actually asked Griffin and the city of Grandville to come and be a speaker at our event on a particular session specifically about getting to yes. A lot of our communities are coming to loggerheads with developers and have confrontations with them, and I think Grandville is a model for how to get to yes. And so we asked Griffin to specifically represent the city for that. So we want to thank you again for that. Rivertown Crossings, we've been part of that story. As of late, I will say Pogue's gone a little dark on us, but we have worked with them, especially throughout the original acquisition. And some of the property tax discussions that we had, so I was able to help with that. And then last, but I was probably most importantly is you guys are regularly one of the top cities that I say when developers come to West Michigan and they say, where should I be looking? What quarter should I be looking? Grandville is always either one or two on the top of that list, depending on what they're looking for. If they want to come here and they want to build 800 units of multifamily housing, it's probably beyond what Grandville's ready to deal with. But I do certainly, talk about how great this community is to work with. So, real quick on prosperity, I won't go into too much on this because this is kind of the bread and butter of our work. This is the traditional economic development side, working with businesses to help them grow, connect them with resources, and attract new businesses. This is the stuff we've been doing for 40 years. Some of the current initiatives we've been working on, again, they've transitioned to work, bring tech to manufacturing with Industry 4.0 and the AI, building an AI roadmap for manufacturing. And they do have a series of industry councils where we bring manufacturers, tech companies, med device companies together just so that they learn from each other. We've always thought it doesn't do anybody any good if you have a secret to your business and you're suffering because of it. And so we've worked for the last 20 years to make sure that that sharing happens so that the rising tide does truly lift all boats. Some of the work, again, specifically we've done in Grandville, we've had one expansion project with Gyra Metals for 4.9 million. We've had 23 retention calls. For those of you that don't know that nomenclature, retention calls are basically sitting down again with that CEO, that plant manager, aside from the business and just saying, how is business going? Making sure that second shift trucks got out the gate, got out the door. Let's sit down and talk about the business. How's the business going? How's profits going? How's hiring going? We conducted 23 of those meetings with Grandville-owned businesses. With 14 unique companies. We also provided 40 different assists to 4 companies here in the region. Those assists are providing them. It could be anything from financing resources to talent resources to even working with the city and city departments if there's issues of curb cuts and signage and things like that. So, and then real quick, I think this is about the end. From those retention calls we do. We gather insights from those, and we obviously don't publish them specifically. We aggregate them to protect the innocent. But the good news is that 61% of them are reporting an increase in sales. Half of them already have plans for expansion, and just under half are increasing hiring. So West Michigan and King County continue to be a strong region for investment and a strong region for our companies growing here. Thank you. Questions, comments, concerns, complaints?
Before we begin deliberations, I know that Councilmember Flanagan had a point he wanted to make.
Yeah, I just wanted to share that the letter requesting assistance is authored by my employer, so I do not plan to participate in voting tonight.
So where the charter, which is fine, and the charter provides that, of course, if you have a direct financial interest in a matter, you cannot participate. If you, if there's a reason you'd like to not participate, abstain, then that's fine, but the council has to approve that, so, I guess Mr. Mayor, if you think that's appropriate, maybe somebody.
Okay, do you wanna move that item up a little bit, Griffin?
That's up to you all.
Okay.
I mean, we can talk about the, investment request now, or we can wait and do it, later in the meeting.
Okay, council, what's your pleasure? It's on city manager's report, a little bit farther down. Item also about White Plains.
Maybe the best place to start, if it's okay, Mr. Mayor, is just is there any questions for these gentlemen kind of about their presentation or anything the organization does? And whether you want to do it later in the meeting or right after, but
Questions for
we can let
Brad?
them sit down otherwise.
Yeah,
Mike?
Just want to thank you, gentlemen, for coming this evening and for your presentation. The Right Place really does some great work in our region, so just want to thank you for that. I know we've been having large conversations regionally on the aquarium project, and some media broke on this last week. Just want to encourage the Right Place. You know, one of the strategic initiatives this council approved at the beginning of this year was to advocate for the aquarium project at the Fensky property. So just want to encourage you gentlemen to, you know, as you're having conversations with regional stakeholders, to please keep Grandville, Walker, and that property in mind. We know that that's pretty far off from anywhere close to being sealed and done. And we know there's I know I should speak for myself, there's challenges around that with water and sewage and the expansion of the highway. So understanding there's lots of questions. I understand the success of Grand Rapids is going to lead up for success for many of our suburbs. But that was an initiative this council looked at in January, and so just wanted to share that with you and really encourage you to take that back to your stakeholders.
Yep, thank you for that. And Griffin and I continue to work closely on it. It would be an incredible opportunity for both City of Walker and City of Grandville. One of the things that he and I continue to do is remind the folks involved that although the site is in the City of Walker, the City of Grandville is tremendously affected by it. And so when it comes to working with MDOT and my monthly updates with MDOT, I make sure that, are we making sure Grandville is part of studies, that they're invited to the table, are they part of the conversation? Same thing, Griffin reminded me of the wastewater treatment. It's your wastewater treatment center, and so, maybe, making sure that Progressive and the folks planning this understand that it's gonna take multiple communities to make this thing happen. So yes, we're excited just as well, so.
Okay. Thanks, Mayor.
Any other questions? Right, thanks. You're up on the agenda a little bit farther down, so.
Thank you.
Probably shortly.
Appreciate it.
Thanks. Anybody here like to, time for public comment, anybody like to address the council? Please just come on up to the podium and let us know what you're thinking about tonight.
You coming with me or am I coming? My number one, okay. My name is Susan Potter, I'm resident of Grandville. I taught for 40 years in Wyoming Public Schools. I know Tim real well. Our kids went to school at Granville Christian and Granville Public. And I've been retired for a while. I have voted for every single one of you on the council, by the way. And I know your uncle, okay? Very well, okay? So I'm very privileged. I'm married to a veteran. My parents were veterans. My grandfather was a flyboy in World War I. My mom was Navy, World War II. My dad was Army Air Corps. My husband, Vietnam vet, 2 tours. And 2 of our kids, Army and Marine Corps, Afghanistan Army. So I'm very involved in American Legion out here. This is where I'm the chief, and he's the wonderful, wonderful chairman of the Gold Star group that we're working on to do the monument here in Grandville. It's a fantastic memorial, and I just want to thank you for your support. I have like a 10-minute presentation. I'm not going to do that tonight, but if you want me back, I'll be happy to do it for you. But we really appreciate your support. We're gathering a lot of good money. You need a lot of good veterans. I'm a member of the DAR too, and boy, I had to run through the ringer for them to get in that. Man, they had to text me out and do this. I said, come on. My guy was a Washington's General Putnam, come on. But I had to prove everything, with everything. But I enjoy history, I love it, I love Grandville. So it's gonna be a fantastic memorial. If you get a chance to read about Woody Williams, the guy that decided to do this, I have a poster, he was a fascinating man. Born in West Virginia, he was my dad's age. He was 18 in 1941 in Pearl Harbor. And his job was to go to families and deliver the telegram to tell them their children were dead. And then he wanted to join the service, and they said, no, Woody, you're too short. But finally they said, fine, we need you. We need boots. Where'd he end up? Iwo Jima, Marine Corps. He was a flamethrower. And he went nuts on the Iwo Jima thing. He got the Medal of Honor. He was the longest surviving Medal of Honor winner from World War II. He got out and he didn't rest on his laurels. He started the foundation. And in 2010, we started getting the monuments going in our country. And there was over 194 around the country, but every one is unique to the community. There's about 20,000 Gold Star families in Michigan. 78,000 if you go beyond the children and grandchildren part. So to honor people who've been in the military, who have given their life, that's unusual. You've got to honor them. One of our kids' daughter retired from the Army. They told her, they said, in 10 years, you'll be lucky to know a veteran. That's sort of sad, okay? But we want to honor our veterans. So we thank you for your support very much. Okay. And then my husband's uncle, John Kuipers, his dad, George Kuipers, grew up in Grandville by the railroad track. And his name was George, and his sister Jean and Tess Kuipers, and John's uncle was John Kuipers, 19 years old, Marine Corps. He was a gunner out of Spitfire. He got killed 19 years old. They never found him. So they were the Gold Star family. And I have their telegrams. So we gotta honor our people, okay? But thank you so much. And appreciate your work and everything, so thank you.
Thank you very much. And Chief gave us an update on the Woody Williams Foundation and Grandville project. So it's perfect timing that you come in tonight. So
Okay, thank you. It's gonna be wonderful.
Yeah.
And we hope to do an annual Gold Star Family Celebration at our Legion, starting at this year, to honor the Gold Star families in in West Michigan. So we thank you again. It's an honor.
Thank you very much. Thanks for coming today. Anybody else like to make public comment? Kyla? Tell us about the tree sale this weekend.
The tree sale.
You're smiling, so yeah.
No, we did well with the Tree City Grandville, and we all the trees were distributed, and we're starting to get pictures rolling in of people planting them, so that's kind of exciting. However, last Friday was Arbor Day, and we were able to put 12 trees in Heritage Park, and we had the second and third graders from East Elementary come, and Andrew Moore is one of our city foresters, or our community foresters, and he brought his class, and they sang the song Plant a Tree for Your Tomorrow by John Denver. It was pretty touching. Stephen and Griffin were both there to help celebrate from the city. It was really nice, and they were some pretty big trees, and people worked pretty hard, but we got them all in on Friday, and it was just a great opportunity because you guys approved us to file for the grant so that DTE and DNR can pay for the trees, and we didn't have to pay for them. So it's a great way to make our park better. Thank you to everyone.
Thanks for all your
Oh,
work.
the biggest shout out goes to the DPW, who I created a lot of extra work for this last week. Hey Charlie, can you get the trees unloaded off the trailer? Hey Charlie, can you auger the holes for the trees? Hey Charlie, will you bring the mulch down? And he never complained. He just did it, and he adjusted anything that I messed up, and he did a great job for us. So he and his team are pretty awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, Colin. Thanks for all the work you do with that project. Anybody else like to address the council? Just come on up to the podium. Mitch, welcome.
Good evening. Mitch Leachman, 3963 Basswood Drive, and I just wanted to come back. The last time I was here 3-4 weeks ago, talked to you about the East End Gateway, the design, the draft design, the initial design, and my concerns over the species composition for the landscaping. And so I'm here tonight to thank you all, thank the leadership, your contractor, OCBA, for responding to the concerns, updating the design, and quite frankly, using more native plants than I would have expected. And that's not because I don't have a desire or a goal for 100%, but because I understand whether it's an individual residential landscape or something as complicated as a public space like that, whether it's salt, whether it's visibility, the various considerations that have to go into it. I wasn't anticipating as high a level of natives as the revised design was. So again, thank you all for responding to the concerns, OCBA for doing a bang-up job. And then I would just leave you with the same message that I had that night. And I also shared with Mike when we had coffee not long ago, of just encouraging you all to incorporate the thought process that I was describing. The fact that the city has embraced Mayor's Monarch Pledge, the fact that you have embraced National Wildlife Federation and the Community Wildlife Habitat, the fact that we're spending city funds on invasive species management, and taking all of that and then applying it to future landscaping on public properties, and ideally doing what the second version was as the first version, right? So just incorporating that thought process at the start, and recognizing the need and the value of the native plant compositions. And again, just I want to reiterate, it doesn't have to be 100%, and I really don't expect it to be 100% native. It can be extremely functional and terribly vibrant and just a wonderful space with a mix of both native and non, but again, really, really thrilled that you all responded to the concern. So thank you.
Thank you, Mitch. Kyle was telling me the other day that even native plants in a natural disaster like a flood and so on hold up better, they last longer, they survive, so. It's
Properly
another
selected,
reason
absolutely, yep.
to have native plants, so thank you. Thanks for your care and your passion. Anybody else like to address the council tonight? Okay, last call. All right, if not, let's go down to the consent agenda. There's a number of items on there. We have some reports from March, the investment report and the fire EMS. Fire chief, wow, 10.5% increase in the number of calls so far this year. You are busy over there.
Staying busy, yep.
Do you think that's gonna just continue like that? Is that just your gut feeling on that?
I don't know. So I think another month or two to trend it out will kind of give us a better clue on how the rest of the first 2 months kind of jumped, and then we got a little bit of a slope at the last 2 months that continuing on.
Busy. We also have the minutes from the Environmental Sustainability Committee for March, as well as the March minutes for the Park and Recreation Board and the Library Board. We're also being asked to renew the contract with PCI Code Enforcement. And that's something we can get, either one of us can get out of the contract pretty easily.
Yeah, the contract is honestly, it's identical to the contract you guys approved at this point last year. The rates are gonna be exactly the same. Really just wanted to bring this back to you all, even though it has an automatic renewal provision, unless we decide to opt out. Just because last year was the first year we had worked with them. I know at that point in time we mentioned evaluating how that went. We have internally, we're feeling pretty good at this point in time, obviously, with the assistant city manager position, who had been the primary liaison with that position being open. We've been working through a few things, but in general, we've been happy with the service and would like to continue with that for another year. But always happy to hear if there's feedback from the rest of the group.
We also have a couple of purchase orders, so approval would be in the best interest of the city tonight. The first purchase is order request is snowplows and uplifting in the amount, upfitting in the amount of $29,905.20 for equipment from Hoekstra Equipment. And also the second item being requested for purchase is crossing guards LED stop signs for a total of $2,219.40. That's for 12 signs from US Safety Kits. So, is there anything anybody would like to discuss separately that's on the consent agenda for tonight? If not, is there a motion to approve the consent agenda in the best interest of the city?
So moved.
Motion
Support.
and support. Final questions, comments? If not, Marcy, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Merringa,
Yes.
Steenstra,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Vanderwall,
Yes.
Flanagan,
Yes.
Gelderlos,
Yes.
and Mayor Mas.
Yes. Griffin, city manager's report.
We are back to the request from the right place. So there's a letter in the packet that summarizes a request from the right place to renew the city of Grandville's investment in the organization. As you heard earlier this meeting from these gentlemen, I think there's a lot of value that this partnership brings not only to the region as a whole, but to our community directly. I know for the year and a half or so that I've been with the organization, I've relied on them kind of regularly for assistance with a variety of these kind of bigger picture regional and local economic development projects. So it's a relationship that I know I value a lot. The city of Grandville has contributed $6,000 annually since 2021 and $5,800 annually since 2017. So if you kind of smush those numbers together and round, we've been contributing about $6,000 annually for the last 9 years. So we have had a couple meetings to discuss renewing the multi-year investment pledges that the council has done in the past, and I feel like they've made a really reasonable request of increasing that contribution from $6,000 to $7,000 to make up for the differences in the city's level of involvement, as well as just the increase in costs in everything that we've seen. So with all that being said, it's recommended that the council consider a 3-year pledge of $7,000 per year contingent on the availability of funds in the corresponding budgets. We are confident that this is consistent with our level of involvement and our size in the region, and we'll also just throw out that $7,000 for fiscal year 26-27 is included in the recommended budget that you all have looked at. I know Jason mentioned his employer is on the board of the right place, so as I mentioned, potentially wanting to recuse himself, so if that's something you all want to consider as well. I'm happy to answer questions about kind of our day-to-day involvement with the right place. I know between Matt, Teresa, and I, we were working with them quite regularly, and I'm looking forward to our new assistant city manager and getting them plugged in with the right place once we get them selected, and then without putting them on the spot, I know Brad and Tim would be happy to answer any questions if there are any as well.
Okay. Council, any comments or questions about that? Gentlemen, thank you very much, especially for highlighting in particular the activity in Grandville. I know that we all feel that all boats float higher, and so we love what you're doing in the region, but it's good to hear what are you doing, especially in Grandville. So thanks for highlighting that. Appreciate that. Before we get into much more discussion, is there a motion to allow Jason to abstain from the vote on the right place request?
Motion.
Support. Motion and support. All those in favor, please say yes.
Yes.
Any opposition, please say no. Great. Is there a motion to enter into a 3-year pledge of $7,000 per year with the right place?
So moved. Support.
Motion and lots of support. Any final comments or questions? Marcy, would you call the roll, please?
Councilmember Steenstra,
Yes.
Sullivan,
Yes.
Vanderwall,
Yes.
Flanagan,
He's abstaining.
Yeah.
oh, Gelderlos,
Yes.
Merringa,
Yes.
and Mayor Mas.
Yes. We're just testing.
Thank you all. So before requesting that council go into closed session to review an attorney-client privileged memorandum with the city attorney, I have just a couple minor updates for you all. First off, just wanted to share and make sure you all were aware of the announcement the city of Wyoming put out late last week regarding odd even sprinkling for the upcoming month. So the city of Wyoming is working on constructing that major third transmission lane or main from their water treatment plant over on the west side of the state or on the lakeshore. During that period of time, it's impacting one of the existing mains, so their water capacity is going to be limited. So they, out of an abundance of caution, are recommending that the participating communities in the regional water system implement system-wide restrictions, specifically by implementing an odd-even sprinkling schedule. So they're optimistic that this approach is going to be sufficient to meet the water demand needs. We know that this is something that isn't popular and not ideal, but feel strongly that it's necessary to minimize the impacts of this important construction project. With all that being said, we're planning to share some additional information about this via the city's website and social media. There is an FAQ that's been put out, as well as a lot of good information on the City of Wyoming's website. I would also just share that at this point in time, even Wyoming's information is sharing that this is not something that is going to be actively enforced. We are looking for participation from the community and a willingness to kind of recognize that I think for the good of the system as a whole, we just need people to moderate their water usage, particularly when it comes to sprinkling for the next 4 to 6 weeks. And I would also just share with you all and all our friends in the room, think about how tough a decision and how unpopular it is to have to put this information out into the world. They wouldn't be doing this if they didn't feel like it was necessary. So I think in general, our team's gonna take the position that, yes, we're not gonna go out and be the sprinkler police and actively enforce, but we are gonna be strongly encouraging people to be good partners in this regional water system, and do the best we can for the next month, and kind of think positively that it's May, we're lucky. It's not like we're trying to do this in the middle of August when I think people are trying to keep their lawns alive. So in all generality, I don't think this will be a huge impact, but do recognize I think that caught some members of the community by surprise. So just wanted to make sure we shared a little bit of information about that. Before we get to an exciting thing, I also want to share that for those of you who may not have seen, KDL and the Grandville branch have been dealing with some technical issues for the last few days. I just received word that some of their branches will be opening tomorrow. The Grandville branch is likely going to be closed one more day. So everyone is, again, really sorry about the inconvenience that causes people. We recognize what a popular destination that is for the community, and all I will really share is, again, just realize that no one wants it to be closed. They're dealing with some IT challenges right now that are needing their full attention, and we expect that they will be back up and fully running here, hopefully on Wednesday. So if you have any other specific questions about that, please feel free and connect with me. But we recognize the impact and are just doing everything we can to try to support them as they get through the challenges that exist with technology. So the last thing before requesting to go to closed session is we have an exciting short video to share with you. So for those of you who recall, a few months back, the city council hired Sabo PR to help us with some of the marketing and communication efforts associated with the water meter replacement projects that's taking place in the community. And one of the things we talked about at that time, and Sabo PR really suggested, was working with the mayor to do a short social media website, kind of modern phone angled video that we are hopefully going to be pushing out later this week to help people learn a little bit more about this project, and hopefully take the temperature down a little bit, in the sense that for most people we really don't think this will be hugely impactful in terms of the disruption it may cause. So before we put it out to the world, I wanted to give you guys a chance at this meeting to kind of be the first to see it, and just want to tell the mayor again how much we appreciated his help with this. It was
yeah, I'd like to get it off this frame.
So let's go ahead.
good afternoon. I'm Steve Moss, the Grandville Mayor, and today I'd like to talk about a water meter replacement program that the city of Grandville's got going on right now. A lot of the meters that are already in the city are the old mechanical meters, and they've been there for decades. So we are in the process of upgrading and getting new meters in. It's an investment in our community to ensure the accuracy of our water meters. We don't want anybody overbilled, we don't want people underbilled, we want them accurately billed. So this spring, PMI is going to reach out to you and set up an appointment to put in a new meter in your home. So here's what you can do to get ready for your appointment. Make sure that somebody over 18 years old is home at the time of the appointment. Make sure your water meter is accessible, and make sure that the valves will turn on and off. Please take a minute to check for leaks, and if the valve is leaking, please contact a licensed plumber before your appointment to get it fixed. This is going to be a short visit. The replacement process itself should only take about 30 minutes or less. By upgrading all the water meters, we're making a lasting difference for our entire community. Thank you so much for your cooperation and help with this project. If you've got any questions, visit cityofgranville.com.
So we have our own local Oscar winner here. Did a fantastic job, and I think our team is very pleased with how it turned out, and are really excited to share that, and hopefully it will, as I kind of mentioned, just for the people who may not fully understand what, why, and how, hopefully this 1.5-minute video can help answer some of those questions and make people a little bit more comfortable with the process we'll be going through. So very pleased with that, and just want to thank the mayor again for his cooperation and kind of willingness to be part of that. I think it turned out great. So with that all being said, that's what I have for you all this evening. I'm happy to answer any questions or talk about anything else on your mind. But if there is nothing else, I would request that the council consider going into closed session.
So before we do that, let's go around and do council member comments. Jared, let's start with you.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, water meter replacement, we've had that done at our home and properties. Super easy, simple, professional. It's a no-brainer, it's easy. Art and Chocolate Walk is on Thursday this week. Excited for that. We are a host again. Yeah, it should be an awesome event with a little bit of new blood on hosting that and promoting it, so I'm looking forward to that. And obviously thanks to the Right Place. I don't know how it got, I guess, born, but I know Ken and Steve and I would meet annually for lunch. It started at a park, I think, during COVID, just because that was seemingly the best place to have lunch. And we always dial up some beautiful weather in Grandville to have Bridget or Randy or Brad or Tim's been there too, I think, for lunch. So I appreciate the connection, the community, the partnership. You guys do fantastic things, and we're proud to be a partner of that. So thank you.
I just had a quick question for the chief, if I can. Chief, I saw your report for the Gold Star fundraising in the packet. Thank you for that. I saw that you had noted the foundation had raised just over $71,000 for that project. What is there a specific goal the group's trying to meet?
Our goal is set at 200,000. Most monuments get built for about 140. We just wanted to build in a little extra to make sure that it was up to Grandville standards.
Okay, thank you. I appreciate that. That's all I had tonight.
I have nothing additional. I was just gonna say, I mentioned this at the park board meeting the other day, but excited to see that the mill race project has been moving along a little more slowly lately, just because of all the water and the flooding in the park, but playground's done. I see neighborhood kids out there playing. The pavilion is soon to be done, the trail is soon to be done, and it's all kind of finally coming together here after multiple years of work on the project and the planning and so forth. And so the park board is excited about that as well. And we're planning, maybe you saw this in your memo, planning some kind of park dedication on May 27th to coincide with our monthly meeting. So it'll probably be in the evening at some point. I don't know if we said 6 or 7, Charlie, somewhere around there. 6 or 7, no. Somewhere in there that evening. And then by that point, everything should be done. The water should be drained. The landscaping and stuff should be to grade it out, and it should be done by then, so hopefully, yeah, assuming we don't get too much more for it in the meantime, but, it's great to see the heavy equipment removed, and, you know, obviously that means that, the project is nearing completion, and it's gonna look great, so I don't know if anybody else has been back there, to check out the new trail, and the overlook, that's all done. The trail needs to be paved yet, but, overlook looks great, and it should be a really nice addition to the park there, so.
Randy?
I have nothing to add.
Jason?
Also looking forward to the art and chocolate walk on Thursday. I know my daughter's excited. She's in the jazz band, so she get to play outside. The ESC is also hosting a speaker series that night at the library. Hopefully it's open by then, but same time, so come check that out. Really appreciated they recognized the students in the AV club. I've seen them do some great things, other events, and they've actually now started to film our speaker series for us, so we can try and get that out to more people, so that's been great. And then I also had the pleasure to participate in Arbor Day on Friday, and it was a great time. My daughter, she made the shirt, so she was super excited to see everybody wearing it, and Kyla brought her up on the stairs to get recognized, so it was very nice. When I brought her back, I had to get her back to school for science, can't miss that, but she, oh no, Harper, your face, there's dirt on it. She goes, it's okay. Oh no, I did some real work, so she had a great time. Thank you.
Great, yeah, Arbor Day was a great celebration. I mean, with as much bad news as we get every day in the world, it was good. It was a beautiful day, the kids were excited, teacher was fantastic, it was all good, planting trees. So wonderful, thanks Kyla for arranging that whole event too. And yeah, looking forward to Art and Chocolate Walk this week, that will be good. I'll be there with chocolate. I'm gonna be helping Kyla at the Grandville Community Tree Project. Yeah, lots of good things. So, there has been a request that we adjourn into closed session to discuss with the attorney and the memorandum. So is there a motion to do so?
So,
Motion and support. Marcy, would you call the roll on that, please?
Councilmember Sullivan,
Yes.
Vanderwaal,
Yes.
Flanagan,
Yes.
Gelderlos,
Yes.
Merringa,
yes.
Steenstra,
Yes.
and Mayor Mas.
Yes. Okay, well, thanks everybody for being here this evening.